opposed to, and I'm sure Chris will probably get to this, they're claiming that I engaged in mortgage fraud, that I somehow decided that I was a resident of Virginia, which would be some commute every morning to the office at 28 Liberty, that somehow, I should be held to the same standard as Donald Trump, but somehow what I did was basically similar to what Donald Trump engaged in. And there's just no comparison. The allegations against me are totally baseless.
All right, folks, what we have here in that clip was Letitia James trying to do her best to downplay what's going on. And that's what she knows is coming around that corner is the knockout blow. Letitia James is the New York Attorney General who went after Donald Trump, not only went after him, campaigned on going after Trump without any type of evidence, with anything that was in front of her plate that he did something wrong. But she campaigned that she was going to be a pain in his, you know what? She was going to bring him down and she was going to get him. And guess what happened? After she got elected, she did everything she could to go after this man, including this mortgage fraud case that was brought up against Donald Trump in New York for his Florida property. And you may be familiar with it, but really briefly, I'm going to kind of recap that and get into this video, because in this video, I'm going to show you not only does it get deeper for her as far as the mortgage fraud with the documents, but it goes deeper with insurance. And what if I told you that employees of her office were also involved in the alleged fraud? So let's get into exactly what's going on with Letitia James. So Letitia James with Donald Trump, he had the Mar-a-Lago property. It's worth close to $1 billion. But in New York, they felt like they were better at calculating the value. See, President Trump had took out a loan. He did the loan, took care of the property, repaid the loan with interest early. Not only paid it off on time, paid it off early. As a matter of fact, the financial institutions, when they were brought up in the hearing, said that they loved doing business with him and want to do it again. So you had no victim. The bank didn't complain that there was fraud. There was nobody defrauded. Nobody lost any money. But the Attorney General in New York felt like she needed to go after that and protect that lending institution, that billion-dollar lending institution that probably didn't know that they were being defrauded, even though they were paid back. Fast forwarded in court, it's a you-know-what show. She's showing up and she's staring Trump down in the back of office, which is completely classless. She does it. So then the verdict comes down. $350 million. And what they thought was that President Trump was not going to be able to come up with it. And she wanted to seize his assets. She wanted nothing more than to stand in front of Trump Tower and saying, we took it. But he got a bonding agency to cover him of $450 million. That's with the interest of $350 plus interest. Now let's fast forward it. Now she's herself in the same boat, but worse, because President Trump didn't actually defraud the bank. They said in New York that Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million. And if you know anything about where Mar-a-Lago is at, there is no houses in that neighborhood of just $18 million. These are 30, 40, 50, $100 million homes. And you got a New York Attorney General that knew better than the Florida property appraisers. So you got them prosecuting in New York for a property in Florida. So you already see the shadiness going on there. But in 2023, Letitia James decided that she was going to get an additional property in Norfolk, Virginia. 2023, y'all, this is when she started the prosecution of Trump. So while she's prosecuting Trump, she's committing mortgage fraud herself. And right here, Sam Antar, who's been doing a phenomenal job of just staying on top of this case, the documentation and what's going on with it. Phenomenal job. If you look him up, he's on X. Want to give him his credit. Right here, it says, then I got video clips for you too. Check them out. Letitia James signed a power of attorney declaring a Virginia property her principal residence after explicitly telling her broker it would not be. Her lawyer, Abby Lowell, claims a subsequent document proves it was corrected, but that document actually predates the false declaration by 2 weeks. Okay? The document predates the false declaration. So in other words, on one document, she said, oh, no, broker, I'm not going to live there. I live in New York. I'm the New York Attorney General. I can't have that as my primary residence. There's no realistic way that can even happen. Then on another document, she said, yes, it would be her primary residence. And regardless of what she did 2 weeks after, The initial document she sent said that it would not be her primary residence. Then the one she did, the one she said it would not be her primary residence predated the one where she said it was. So what that actually means is that she knew exactly what she was doing. So not only did she tell the broker in advance it wasn't, 2 weeks later, she decided to put on the application, it was, with her niece. So let's check out this declaration right here. This is the actual declaration itself. Good morning, Letitia. Section 4 indicates that the property will be occupied as a primary residence for Shamise. The loan is originated as a primary residence. Your declaration is marked as a non-occupying co-borrower. The file is set up correctly and the rate is locked as a primary residence. Okay? The loan is originated as a primary residence. Your declaration is marked as a non-occupying co-borrower. So as you can see, as the primary residence, she put no. She put no. That's what she sent to the broker. Then after that, she decides that she was going to go on ahead and put, yes, it was her primary residence, that it would be her primary residence when it came to her power of attorney. If you enjoyed this video, do me a solid, hit that like button, because I'll never ask you for a cash out. I'll never ask you for a super chat, but you hitting that like button, it is currency. It helps spread the video around. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. On the Real Politics Podcast, that's what we do. We talk real politics. So once you subscribe, hit the notification bell and select all. That way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Fraud, not to mention the insurance. She had to get insurance on those properties. That was fraudulent because it was a 5-unit dwelling that she said was only 4. There was a property in Norfolk, Virginia that she said was her primary residence. She even had to say that to the insurance company. That was fraud. But here's where it really gets down and dirty. She also included her office, the Attorney General office. That's right. Pam Bondi has just subpoenaed the entire FBI office of the entire office of Letitia James, and has subpoenaed Letitia James herself. So check out this story. Why white-collar fraud? New York Attorney General Letitia James, Virginia mortgage document witnessed by top staff as federal investigation looms. So this woman, Letitia James, had her own employees witness the fraudulent document. So now they're drug into this BS, just thinking that they were helping out their boss. Now the question is, did they have a choice in the matter, or were they strong-armed? Because this woman seems like a miserable woman. She doesn't have a husband. She seemed miserable. I'm not sure if she has children. I believe she's childless. And this lady's whole mission is just to go out and attack and spew hatred and nonsense. And I'm going to show you what Trump had to say about her in a little bit. But senior officials from Attorney General's office witnessed declaration during critical period before a Trump fraud trial. And I'm just going to read a little bit of this real quick. When New York Attorney General Letitia James signed a sworn legal document declaring her intent to make her Virginia home her principal residence, she was not alone. 2 senior officials from her own office, including her first deputy attorney general, acted as witnesses, raising critical ethical and legal questions about state resources, residency qualifications, and the misuse of official authority. These staffers will likely face interviews as federal authorities investigate potential mortgage fraud. This declaration came just 45 days before James launched her landmark civil fraud case against Donald Trump and would have required her to establish Virginia residency during the trial. So while she's prosecuting Trump for quote unquote mortgage fraud, she's committing mortgage fraud. And that's just the one. Let's take it on back to 1983 when her father apparently was going to get a residence and needed some help. Now, in 1983, Letitia James was just getting out of college. And yet she co-signed on this home loan with her father, where he said that they were husband and wife. And then on the deed, put down that it was father and daughter. But on the mortgage application itself, husband and wife. That is fraud. Now, her attorney, Abby Lowell, who was one of these high-powered attorneys, he submits all of these documentation showing, look, on the deed, he did it the right way. It doesn't matter. The actual fraudulent instrument was the application to which it was approved based off incorrect information. Because as a spouse, he got better rates than if it was just a co-borrower that was not a significant other. Same thing with the Virginia home. This whole thing with her co-signing and saying it was her primary residence was a part of a federal program to get better rates on the property. So she did fraudulent acts to take advantage of federal funds. Not to mention the 5-unit dwelling, the 5-unit property in New York, in Brooklyn, that she lists as 4 units on every piece of documentation that New York State has. That is a 5-unit building. And what that means in New York, when it's 5 units, that's commercial property. 4 units can be personal property. And at commercial mortgage, you get different rates, much higher than you do off regular residency rates. So she lied and said it was a 4-unit when it was really a 5. And with all of these different mistakes, and she just wants people to believe that this Harvard grad, attorney general, just made a mistake on all of these documents. You know, I didn't know my dad wasn't my dad, that my dad wasn't my husband. I didn't know that. And I didn't know that I couldn't sign for this home in Virginia when I live in New York. And I didn't know a bunch of BS. And remember, she's the main one that says, nobody's above the law. Nobody, she got that list. Nobody's above the law. My attorney general. Now, check out this clip of her losing her mind, going insane at one of these rallies. Check this out. Hit dogs will holler.
And you want me to sit in my seat and stand idly by and allow this craziness to happen? You can come after me if you want, but you elected me to stand up. You elected me to use the law. You elected me to go to court. You elected me to continue to challenge this administration. You elected me to stand up for the least of God's children.
Now look at how the people in the back, you got the freaking scam artist Al Sharpton, you got whoever this lady is in the middle, and the old man just stood up because everybody else did. They standing up like they in church, and this woman just gave the good word. And she acts as if she's just a representative fighting back against the man that's just coming down on her. No, you are the law. You are the major violator of the laws that you proclaim to protect. You use lawfare, you do smear campaigns. Now she's trying to go all across the internet and act like Big Bad Trump just got to the J's. Trump wasn't even the one that found this. It was a Democrat that works in the department that goes through mortgages for federal programs. So all it is, it was Trump. Nope, if the shoe fits, wear it, Letitia. But these people make me laugh jumping up like it's church.
You elected me to continue fighting on, and I will fight on. And you want me to
she act like she is just giving like her I Have a Dream speech rendition. This lady is a joke. These Democrats are failing miserably. Their approval rating is at 21%. Chuck Schumer's is at 17%. The 18 to 29-year-olds are identifying more with Republicans, I believe, at a rate of 2 to 1. At least it was last time I checked. African Americans have tremendously shifted into more support of Trump, especially the males. Can't speak for the black sisters, man. I'm still trying to work on them waking up and getting off that Democrat plantation. But things are looking up. Donald Trump's approval rating with all the negative media, all the lies, and all the smears is still at between 40 and 50%. As a matter of fact, a new poll just came out showing that Americans trust President Trump 40% to taking care of the country, over 32% to the entire Democrat Party. See, when Trump lines up against anybody Democrat, he crushes them. If you just poll him on something by himself against nobody, that's how the lamestream media tries to set these polls. Oh, Trump is tanking. Did you? And I'm going to jump off this real quick and get in this clip. Did you see where CNN had the group of black folks on and was talking about Trump this or Trump terrorists, yada, yada, and said, do you all regret your votes? They looked at him resoundingly and said, nope, we don't regret our votes. I'm happy with my vote. It shocked CNN. Van Jones was not ready for that because they're miserable. Democrats are miserable. So they expect everybody else says, no, we love our candidate. We're proud of what he's doing. He campaigned on everything he's doing. So nothing is a surprise. Nothing. And that's what we want in our leaders. Now check out what he had to say. Say Trump on Letitia James. She's a disaster for New York and a horrible human being. Horrible human being and a total crook. No question with it, but that's my opinion. Pam will have to do what she wants. She's a very bad person that has nothing to do with what Pam does. Pam will do what's right. She's a very bad person that has nothing to do with what Pam does. All right, let's listen to what the president had to say.
You and perhaps the Attorney General. The Justice Department recently received a criminal referral against New York Attorney General Letitia James for fraud. We haven't heard much about it. You or the Attorney General give us an update as to what's going on with that investigation.
Well, I don't want to get involved in something that Pamela's involved with. If you'd like to say something, Pam, or I can say unrelated to that, she's a disaster for New York. She's a horrible, horrible human being. And I think she's a total crook. There's no question about it. But that's just my opinion. Pam's going to have to do what she wants. She's a very bad person. She's a very, very bad person who campaigned solely on I'm going to get Donald Trump over and over again. She's a sick person. But that's has nothing to do with what Pam does. Pam is going to do what's right. She always does. I've known.
That was the end of the video. I didn't want y'all to think that I clipped it, but as you can see, the president says she's a total crook. When she is. And finally, the chickens are coming home to roost on her. Do y'all think she's going to be arrested? You think old Big Tish James can do some prison time, some jail time? She definitely should lose that AG seat, but you know how corrupt New York is. You know that they're going to do everything they can to fight. And check this out. She even has the nerve right now to have a lawsuit. Got, I think, 11 or 15 other attorney general around the country to file this lawsuit about tariffs against Trump. It is nothing more than a deflection, but she's going to try to use that as, oh, they're coming after me because of my lawsuits. No, they're coming after you because you committed fraud. The people of New York did not elect you to commit fraud, Letitia, and you did. So if you're still watching the video, I want to say thank you. I appreciate it. And if you haven't, hit that like button. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about it. Most importantly, I want you to be safe, be great. I'm Brian Maxwell, and I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.